I'm kind of glad that Ferrus Manus got killed.
Dang.
This is Forge the Narrative.
Hey everybody, welcome to Forge the Narrative. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined tonight by Red Powell.
Hello.
Tanya Gates.
Hi, everybody.
And Adam Camilleri.
Oh, hi there.
We are Labella All Souls Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Please like, share, subscribe, click the whatever buttons and whatever thing that you're listening to this on that makes people want to interact with us. And we very much appreciate the fact that you would do that.
All the buttons. Click them all.
just click. Yeah, that's it. Please. Thank you. And all of that stuff. Okay, so look, he is big. He's back. He's Be'lakor.
The first Demon Prince, man.
He's beautiful.
Actually is. And he's not leaping from a rock, so he's automatically, incredible in my eyes.
Man. Yeah, he's got quite the stance going on, right? And I gotta say, they kind of did give him, his base adds another, it's like the high heels for models, right? It looks amazing. It looks amazing, but it's definitely adding on the height factor for sure.
Descriptions included massive, titanic, bigger in some dimensions than a rotisserie chicken. That's in the community article, and I like it when they get clever like that a little bit. But man, coming out of nowhere, look at this gorgeous model.
It is fan-freaking-tastic. And I was having a chat with somebody the other day, and I was just like, I'm so tired of these crappy remake movies, but I'm not tired of these amazing remake models. just putting that out there.
I thought you were going to say that you were just chatting with a buddy about how cool it would be to field Be'lakor again, and I was like, wow, that is really oddly specific.
Oh, no. I can't remember the last time I was excited about going to the movies, you know? And I was just thinking about, I'm excited for the next time G-Dub re-releases one of my nostalgia favorite models. And it turns out they're all nostalgia favorites when you bring them back, and when they're this good when you bring them back.
Yeah, every redo of a model they've done has been stunning, and this is no exception. But it's, okay, so right now, is Be'lakor even really fieldable?
He is. I gotta say, he is fieldable. However, bringing him right now, you lose any kind of demon benefit bonus that you would get from a detachment, right? So if you take all Khorne, you get to re-roll your charges. If you take all, so that it's these different bonuses that you can get. And so he negates those because he's not pure one way or the other.
Right.
He doesn't get to count towards it.
He doesn't have a mark of chaos, like any of that stuff. So he is basically just chaos. Which is cool and all, but it seems like maybe we have some new rules coming for him too if we're going to get a model that's this impressive.
They could make him. I saw some folks talking about it. They could make him, like a Primarch or Demon, Supreme Commander, essentially equivalent.
He's big enough.
Yeah. Sure.
40k wise, I've been hoping that other factions get the treatment that I suppose Imperium got with the Imperial Agents kind of thing, where you could take a non-aligned, specialist and attach it to your faction and not break any of your faction bonuses and goodness. I think that'd be a cool way to incorporate something like Be'lakor. Like you have a Khorne army, and then you take in my unaligned non-faction slot, you take Be'lakor, doesn't break anything, just adds an incredible centerpiece.
I have no problem, from a lore-wise, I have zero problem with... this character is important to the lore. Being the first Demon Prince, there's all that stuff surrounding it. And I think, when did we decide that Storm of Chaos, I think his first appearance was in Warhammer Fantasy Battle 6th edition.
It's kind of muddled. The first time I remember him being mentioned was he was referred to as the Lord of Mordheim, but I never remember him being attached in any way to that game system. So I really don't know. Yeah, but the first mention I can remember in the game was, like you said, Paul, was in 6th edition when they released Storm of Chaos. But what was that? That was early 2000s, yeah?
6th edition was in 2000, so sometime in between 2000 and 2006 or something.
Yeah, so there's a couple of years in there. Well, so what does he make him old enough to do in America now? He's around that age.
If he came out in 2000, he could drink today.
The model
But
model that's been in the gym as long as he has, you should probably let him.
He's probably just getting his driver's license though, which is great because now he's tall enough to reach the pedals.
Yeah, oh man,
It's true.
But then when that model came out, it was stunning because it looked radically different than the other Demon Princes. It looked imposing, it looked powerful at the time, and then time got away from it. I mean, I still revere. I actually painted my Be'lakor in like a deep red thing because I was all into corn at the time.
Are you saying you got away from corn? Do we need to have a conversation, Paul?
Where did you go?
Yeah, I don't. Well, in Fantasy Battle, I did. I played Corn Chaos Warriors, so I wanted all my army to match. I had Minotaurs and everything. They were all kind of in that corny red.
And then you moved to another corn army, but in 40k.
That is not true. That is not true. But
Blood for the Blood God? No.
I'm pretty sure that Bellacor's first appearance was in that Storm of Chaos thing where they did just those. I mean, those were some crazy army lists, and he was no exception. He was fun to use and powerful. And then he made his way to 40k.
I remember playing against him in 6th and 7th edition. He had like a AP2 Fleshbane in combat sword or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And he just chopped my face right up. It wasn't fun. But he was exactly what you thought he should be.
Well, I think he had like cool powers and stuff too.
He's just always been cool.
Well, he had access to power. Yeah, he had a wider range to access to powers. He affected like leadership and different stuff like that. It's very cool.
Yeah,
I was just remembering a passage. I can't remember if it was in Storm of Chaos or not, but then I looked it up before talking to Archaon and pretty much just putting Archaon in his place, being like, "Sorry, you think you are the first to bear such dark honors? You are nothing, born of nothing, the hollow fruit of an empty womb." I was like, "Oh, whoa, Papa Be'lakor laying the smackdown."
Hey, now got a model to match. I mean, I should say not just now. He's when he first hit the scene. I think that I felt the same way then about that model, but now looking at that model compared to this one, it's just God's. I mean, really, how times have changed.
I mean, so I'm kind of new to the hobby. So for me, I've only really known the Demon Princes, like not like this, but like I've known the plastic Demon Princes. And I always thought that they were kind of goofy and they didn't like quite fit like the aesthetic that GW currently has. So this is like the first Demon Prince that I've seen that for me as a new player, I can say that's really cool. He's so cool. And I did tell my husband that I'm not going to buy one, and he's like, whatever.
That's serious lies.
No, it's not lies because I intend to resist.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll see if I can.
Yeah, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
So, what faction are you dedicating your new demon army to? That's what.
See, people don't realize I do have a demon army.
Oh yeah, oh sure. So you've practically justified it already. Just go ahead and get it.
He'll look perfect with my Slanesh demons.
Yeah. You do have 10 demonettes or something. So yeah, why not get Be'lakor?
I actually, because I play Slanesh demons I play Hedon Knights of Slanesh in Age of Sigmar. So I actually have a fieldable army. Okay.
Oh, I'm just messing with you. I think we don't need too much justification to get something that it looks this impressive. I mean, this is if there's models that are worthy of building armies around. I mean, think about it. Like all the Primarchs have been that way so far. Heck, you can make a case for the Bloodthirster. I think there's plenty of what is it? You could set sail around these figures, and there's no shame in that at all.
Yeah. You're making it really hard to say no to this thing.
I mean, Tanya, it does have power armor and a Space Marine on the base.
Yeah,
true.
And what is it? A Primaris Lieutenant?
I did have an absolute chuckle. Absolute chuckle. I was like, "Ha, you dastardly lads! That's hilarious."
It does have a I do dislike painting power armor, but in that case, I think I could let it slide.
I was willing to see which way you went with that, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean the 10 Ultramarine captains got to show up somehow.
Well, what I like is it seems to come with both like a Age of Sigmar casualty and a 40k casualty. I'm going to try to gather up as many of those 40k casualties as I can make. Make a little pile of dead Ultramarines to taunt my friends with.
I like that.
Who wouldn't be a fan of that?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm sorry.
But I think this. I mean, just this is theory, but I mean, I think his rules have to change. I think we'll see something like that, some easier way to get him in an army without violating those rules.
Yeah, I really hope so. I really hope he's like either that or he's like Silent King. Silent King can be taken with anything, or he doesn't break any doctrines or whatever you want. Any codes, sorry. Interesting thought. Is this how close are we now to a completely revamped like demon range? We're like, especially character wise, we're quite close, aren't we? Every greater demon's been revamped. Every and each one of them has a named greater demon associated. We got what's his name? The angry one. The angry one. The extra tricky one. Sorry.
Are you talking about Scarbrand? Is that what you're talking about?
Scarbrand.
I can't even follow that. He's like the extra angry one.
Red, I will not stand for this disrespect. Being livid at you.
I'm surely not. The extra angry one.
That's the perfect. They're all angry. He's extra. He's
so extra. He has 2 axes and he's missing half his face.
Yeah, and no wings. That's sorry. That's so good. But yeah, we're very close to a completely revamped range, aren't we? Like we got Karanak's been redone. I suppose Changeling and Skulltaker haven't. But yeah, all the Greater Demons and all the Greater Demon special characters have been done. Now Bellacor's been done.
The Changeling did get a plastic model, didn't he?
Did he?
I thought he did. I thought he got a good one too.
I'm pretty happy with the one he's got now, to be honest. The one he's got now is pretty good.
Well, we're probably talking about the same one, though. We don't actually have to guess, although it is more fun to guess. Look, I've already heard how we were wrong about several things last episode, and we will address those in this one, but it's fun.
I'm sorry I wasn't here to help you guys. I probably would have. I'm sure I would have stopped it. I know.
We talked a lot about Necrons, Red. We needed you.
Yeah, that's what I heard. A bunch of people were like, hey, what's going on? There's a whole episode on Necrons, and you weren't there. It's like, yeah, kids blow up every once in a while. Nurgle visits the Powell household.
The next time you need to take a day off, we'll talk completely about corn and the butcher's nails.
Yeah, perfect. As is tradition. Red's not here. All right, let's pick one of Red's
let's talk
armies.
about the extra angry ones.
Oh my goodness! No, I think we're talking about the same model with the Changeling. You're right. There has been really the only thing that's kind of remained the same is the plastic troops, but they were the first ones to get the redo, and they're just fine.
Yeah, I think they're fine. I saw I saw somebody in a 30k group I'm in, or a Horus Heresy group I'm in, who's painted fleshy blood letters, and I was like, holy crap, they look incredible.
That looks good, yeah.
I've got a buddy who has used blood letters as well to make some other models. Like he's trimmed off the flanges or whatever, so they look they look real creepy. Like he's made them fleshy and bloody and stuff, and there's a lot you can do with that model.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I remember the first demons I've owned were fleshy plague bearers, the old metal sculpts with their little daggers in the air. Yeah. I thought they looked cool in that scheme back then, because back then there wasn't a lot of access to glazes and washes and things. So you add a little bit of a tint of green to all your flesh colors as you do your layers, and it used to come out really sickly and pallid and really nice.
Have you guys ever seen somebody took a Great Unclean one and like filled in all like the sores and stuff, so it's just you would think it would look less disgusting, but it actually looked more disgusting without all like the pustules and stuff on it. Like, have you seen it?
No, I think I have. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Where it does
it gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, they made it look like actual flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever did that, good job.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah. Mondo creepy, I think is how we describe that.
It's funny how the more human-like they get, the more creepy they become. Wonder what? There's probably something psychological with that, but I'm not going to go into it.
Are you sure you don't want to? I can.
So the Changeling, yes, it is a multi-part plastic kit, and we are talking about the same cool, and yes, it's newish.
There you go. So they're very, very close to completely revamped range.
Yeah, let's get them on the table. What's missing? So the blue scribes are probably still.
That's true as well.
I don't think that they were updated. I think all the Slanesh stuff has even gone a step beyond. They started adding in stuff, because I know they redid the mask, and then they started. They added in the mirror and everything.
Yeah, the contorted epitome.
Yeah,
and Nurgle has a bunch of plastic stuff. There's a Herald of Nurgle and Herald of Khorne on Juggernaut, and it probably needs to be redone.
Yeah, the crushes. I would love to see what G-Dub makes of a brand new aesthetic juggernaut. I think just
well,
with
the
process
juggernauts are plastic, so I think that they're probably gonna stay there. I do wish that there'd be like maybe some better rules to them. But I think that they're there, and they've got the blood throne and everything. Epidemius, I'm pretty sure
True.
they added
He's
in
still
the
a-
snail dude, but they haven't done Epidemius yet.
Still a cool model. I remember painting him for a mate in fantasy, and he was just such a fun exercise.
Yeah, you get all kind of little, and I love all the Nurglings and stuff. So, but I mean, really though, actually, what I liked about this is that the demons, and I know we've just kind of discussed, at least in theory before, like this is one of those things that's like super innate 40k, like it's original property stuff, and so I like seeing it when it gets attention.
Yeah, me too. It's the core of against the core of the mythos is the whole reality versus warp and the interchanging within.
It's super.
Is there anything
Warhammer.
that adds to either?
Yeah.
I suppose what did you guys make of the Demons of the Ruinstorm, that kit?
What's in that one?
It's just like 3 demons that were released by Forge World. And they're essentially like pre-formation of the gods demons, like they're the original first press demons, kind of. They haven't coalesced into being dedicated to anything. They're like, I guess, like what Furies are and like Soul Grinders. They're not dedicated especially to one god. They're kind of their own thing.
These are the ones that look, I mean, almost like trolls. Is that?
Yeah, Ruinstorm Demon Brutes. They kind of look like old river trolls. They're a bit sleeker, a bit more brutal looking, kind of angular, like they're armored or crystallized. They've got cornish looking heads.
That's an interesting question. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that we know that chaos can be anything. It's the billions and billions of neverborn, unlimited neverborn souls that can be manifested basically at upon the emotions of mortals, kind of thing. I don't know how I feel if there's still some untapped warp out there, because there used to be that, what is it, Malal?
Oh man,
yeah, yes, I'm a big fan of Malal, by the way.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of neat that it's basically a licensing issue as to why we don't have him now. But I also kind of like the fact that in the warp there are these 4 omni-powerful beings that don't like each other very much either, but yet they like us a lot less.
Yeah. Well, and then that there's like they've got like this vying, this whole vying take that they're trying to push off on how they're exactly gonna seize power one way or the other, and you kind of get this weird, some of the other Horus Heresy stuff that you read, like how Dracnian, the sword, how that whole thing started, and some of the Horus Heresy stuff. It's really awesome, and you kind of get this timeline to them, right? But at the same time, like Slaanesh at one point didn't exist, and suddenly, thanks to our favorite snooty Eldar, Slaanesh didn't exist, and then all of a sudden he did exist, and not only did he exist, but he existed like backwards in time. And so like some of that's pretty interesting in concept of it, and even Dan Abnett, the Eisenhorn series, there's they go into this one area where in the later books where they're like in the body or the husk of like this super demon, that there was this throne machine that was there, that like it was a demon that essentially wanted to rival even the 4 and everything. I mean, the demons just have so much going on. It's awesome.
It brings up a meme to my mind. Like chaos is a reflection of personalities, reflection of feeling and emotion. And emotions aren't just for the 4 categories of the chaos gods. It brings to mind a meme I remember about the sorting out hat in Hogwarts. The founders of Hogwarts we all know there are only 4 types of children: brave, smart, evil, and miscellaneous. And so human emotion grows and develops as humans do. Or as evolves as living creatures do. So the idea that chaos in itself is an ever-changing thing, I think, is a very interesting concept as well.
Yeah, I mean, of course I can get behind the fact that there are these unaligned demons, but I just kind of like the idea that there's I don't know. I guess it doesn't like hurt my feelings or anything. But I think I like the idea of there being all these strong evil character types. But I guess I like the possibility that there's also something else that could bubble up. I mean, like, again, what if there's a war in the Eye of Terror that eliminates one of them? There wouldn't be a vacuum. Something else would pop up, right? I guess
that would be cool. I mean, it's been a while between the last Chaos God was spawned. Surely there's enough going on in the 41st millennium that we could get a little bit of a shake-up. Who knows? Like, I mean, the 4 have been at war since they were conceived. Like, literally as soon as Zinch was spawned. Khorne and Tzeentch are at it. And then it's been the same with, differences at times depending on whatever's going on. Because now it's what, Slaanesh versus Khorne, Tzeentch versus Nurgle, essentially the perpetual.
Yeah, they've kind of turned it on that one.
Yeah. And I was correct in that order, yeah? It was Khorne, then Tzeentch, then Nurgle, then Slaanesh?
Something along the... I don't know between Tzeentch and Nurgle. I do know Khorne was first.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to say that regardless, so I don't know if we can accept that as the truth.
I mean, fight me, I guess.
That's like the perfect Khorne response.
I know. Am I supposed to? I don't know. This is not winnable anymore. I don't feel like I don't want to play this game. So yeah, again, we have to see a shakeup in the way the demons play now, I guess. And I think you're right. I think of course, the simplest solution is just, he can be taken with anything now.
Well, he is undivided. He's truly not linked and doesn't have the favor of any Chaos God. In fact, he's got the disfavor of a bunch of them.
Well, I think though that he's
quite remember why
he's powerful enough to even in past times. I think his lore justifies the fact that he could appear when other activity in the warp is there, maybe aid them for a common goal, and then not disrupt their agenda. Only there when their agenda has a mutual goal, I guess. And so therefore, where I'm going with that is you wouldn't lose your bonuses when he's around.
Yeah. Your work bonus.
I'm
not going to become a herald because Be'lakor helped out. That sucks, Dad.
I just want the model. What do I need? Who do I need to convince that that's a good idea to let me get this model in with some other demons? But I think the demons actually they have the tools now to stay relevant. So it's just kind of cool. They're getting more stuff. Maybe
totally agree. And they're a good one to give constant support to, because they are a game spanning faction. It's always good to keep demons strong, because by giving them love and release stuff, you're going to be pleasing both sides of the coin. Like Age of Sigmar players and 40k players.
I thought it was so cool. Yeah, when the demons, I can't remember when was it? Like 5th edition fantasy battle.
The demons became a standalone.
Well, they were standalone, but then they got the exact name characters in both things, like the Blue Scribes, Epidemius. All those were you can play them in 40k and you can play them in fantasy battle.
I'm actually not sure.
I can't remember exactly when, but I think it's 5th, 6th types of edition where all the name characters, you could use them in both games, and I thought that was great. I actually thought it was very cool. Now there's even more of a distinction between Age of Sigmar and 40k, but it's still cool that they've still got this in mind where they could get dual use out of these models.
And they're on the same bases now. You don't need to have them on. Well, so I used to see a lot of people with demons on circle bases, but then ranked up on a what do you call it?
Yeah, movement tray.
Movement tray. That's the one. Geez, my words are failing me today. Angry tray.
I got you.
Extra
super
tray.
angry tray.
Super angry tray. Sorry, guys.
What's that double angry square thing? We are professionals. All that stuff about clicking like and share and subscribe. Maybe don't share this one. Like it still. But...
Shush. This is quality content. This is what people need.
Look,
give us those extra angry likes and subscriptions. Yeah.
Occasionally, the demons are ones I'll break out. Like, what I haven't painted a squad in a while. Let me just break out a squad of demons and just because you used to summon them and stuff like that. It's kind of cool to have, and they're also neat to have as a bad guy. And they work really well in the skirmish level games and stuff like that. I mean, Be'lakor probably not going to be the best in skirmish games, but again, I don't need much justification to want to get this model and paint it.
Can I just say how silly it'll be if Be'lakor has some you cannot cause more than 4 wounds to Be'lakor in any given phase.
He's got the shadow power, man. That's why you can't do it.
Just saying. I mean, I don't want to, ruin any surprises because I know nothing, but it'd be super funny.
Well, I mean, you think though he is the demon of shadows.
I mean, my
isn't he? I think that's right.
Yeah, well, whether it's the Prince of Shadows, King of Shadows, something along those lines. But I mean, the Bloodthirsters, the exalted Bloodthirsters got you cannot deal more than 8 wounds to them in a given phase, which I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it ain't bad at all.
No, I'll take it.
I think we've oohed and awed about chaos sufficiently. Which is true. I mean, this is how I feel though. I mean, this anytime that the demons get better, I feel like the 40k is better as a game.
Why is that? Because they're the bad guys? I'm doing air quotes, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
Bad guys?
So there are some things in 40k like Eldari, they're space elves, right? Space Marines, you can make analogs to them, and some you can into many of the other factions within 40k. But demons are almost like specifically Warhammer lore. Like they're like the Warhammiest of Warhams, and I really like that. It's in much of the same way that they've gone their own way, in creating all their own IP and stuff, unique IP for Age of Sigmar. Like it's very them and unmistakable and not transferable to other games or even other stories or whatever. It's like extremely Games Workshop demonic lore is a unique thing, and so I like it. So I like seeing it on the table, like battling against it, like kind of dabbling and collecting it and painting it every now and then. And it just feels like very unique. Like in some of my fondest memories of experiencing the early lore of 40k was kind of exploring that demonic side of it. Like the Slaves of Darkness and the Lost in the Damned books they're two like epic tomes. Like every page was an adventure, something new in the mind to see and play out. It's amazing. Hard to replicate that feeling from those early turning the pages of those early lore books. But that the uniqueness and the charm of the demons, I think, is never gone away.
Yeah, especially the Chaos Gods. The Chaos Gods are like truly uniquely 40k. There is kind of no other mythos out there that really gives you the same feel. Or the reason is there. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that even comes close.
Yeah, I mean, you can think of other big bads out there or other, let's just say, misunderstood things.
Whoa.
Where perspective matters. There are other things like that.
You just suddenly got very relative on Chaos Gods.
Heretic. Heretic.
I'm going to report to my local inquisitor to sort out some of these feelings that I have.
Yeah. We got to talk about this one.
But it's just the way that chaos is portrayed in Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar, I think, is just very much unique to Warhammer 40,000 or Games Workshop, and it's appealing. And so I do like it when there's a strong bad guy presence because it gives relevance to the good guys. And it makes for, like, even when you're looking at a tournament, you'll see more good guy on bad guy matchups. Opponents on each other. This is just a skirmish between Iron Hands and Imperial Fist. Like, you don't have to do that, as often. When the bad guys are strong, the kind of narrative can take care of itself along the way.
Mm.
Even in organized play events.
I hope that you also did good guys in air quotes. Good guys.
I mean,
some guys are the best guys, and some guys just
salamanders.
Salamanders. That's it. We're going to break. We're going to break right now. We'll see y'all in a minute.
FTN is brought to you by Discount Games Inc. Please visit them at www.discountgamesinc.com. And don't forget to ask Jay about ways to save even more on your hobby projects.
Hey everybody, we are back. Thanks for joining us. Still got Red and Adam here.
Hello.
Oh, hey.
And Tanya.
Hi.
Welcome back, everybody. So last episode, we talked about how the Cryptek out of the Prior Nexus was the first female Necron that we had encountered.
Oh, man. I totally missed that.
Well, it turns out it's not.
It's not the first.
So I think the first female that was brought to the attention, I think, in one of the comments or somewhere. So please, look, I read all those, so keep them coming. Thank you so much for leaving them. Is that in Imperial Armor 12, there is reference to a female Necron.
That's right. In the Forge world. Yep.
I mean, that's better, right? We all see how that's better. That this wasn't the first one.
Well, I don't know if it's better or worse. I mean, it's just I just thought it was.
I just think more is better. I think more times.
More is better for sure. But I think that's what we our point was that just how the Necron lore is evolving to really be something you can sink your teeth into. And Red, that's what you missed. And so hearing your comments on this, really, I'm anxious to hear what you have to say.
Have you guys read the Indominus book yet?
I have not.
So it's I really love some of the stuff that they're doing with the Necron lore. I mean, you guys obviously talked about all the cool stuff without me last weekend, but so I mean, it's the Indominus book is great. I highly recommend it because it really does show like kind of a background look into the Necrons and how they, I mean, just their lifestyle and what they're like remembering going forward. I mean, like some of them, especially, they have like a Scorpec Lord, of course, because of the Indominus box and his like memories of everything beforehand. And, his whole family, like they go to get essentially processed, right. To get to be turned into Necrons. And, his family just gets like wiped out of existence. I mean, their souls still get the biotransference still occurs, but like, what's left afterwards. And so like that whole thing, like there's a real tragic element to it. And, the Plasmancer, of course, that you guys have highlighted, like that Plasmancer is just, there's a whole aspect to it that I just think it's really cool. The characters behind it, like you're saying, the good guy, bad guy kind of concept, like,
is that Plasmancer a character from the book, or is she brand new?
So I mean, well, she's in. So all the characters. I mean, of course, they made the Indominus book or the game. All the models don't necessarily have like they're not named characters, but all of them are in the book. And so like they're all modeled essentially, from one another. I'm pretty sure they probably developed the models and then built the story to fit it.
They're like, hey, Gav, look at these models. Like, oh, I'm gonna write that.
He sure did. I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was good.
That's neat. Now we've mentioned just how the Necrons have continued to change and are getting like, I mean, I guess, we kind of talked about what you feel about the Silent King and stuff before, but are you finding yourself like daydreaming more, like about different army lists? Like now that the lore is expanding, is it changed how you approach collecting or building the army at all?
So for the Crusade, I've talked a little bit more. I've talked a little bit about the Crusade stuff before, and I think especially with how they've introduced and brought in the Silent King into the lore more as this, this active agent and whatnot. So my Crusade list is completely I don't have the Silent King in my Crusade list in my roster, but I am using, so like my Overlord is one of just kind of, and I admit that, I was inspired by the Indominus book because that army is part of the Zarkon dynasty, which is the Silent King's dynasty, which really up till now didn't technically exist in the lore, right? Like they've kind of emerged on us as far as gameplay goes. And so playing for Crusade, I made my own dynasty, but it's an offshoot of the Zarkon dynasty. And it's really cool. I mean, like even for Crusade and gameplay wise, like the impact and effects to it. And then from the Indominus book, this one Overlord, the Overlord that's in the game, he's like really, there's a sense of entitlement that he has because he's related to the Silent King, which I think is really cool. Like there's some interesting ties to that. Like, okay, your character is like the nephew twice removed or something of the Silent King before they were turned into Necrons. And, all the implications that come with that.
He still gets invited to some parties.
Right. Yeah. Just enough. I mean, they gave him his own like tomb world and whatnot. That's pretty cool. Right. And he can, and so like they talk about like the codes and like how he can just, this Overlord can just overwrite and command other people and manage their ships and everything through the protocols and all, super cool stuff. But like, yeah, so my Crusade deal, I totally built it around something similar to that. And the fact that the other cool thing, like we've talked about it before, Emotech totally, he does not like the Silent King.
No, and man, so he's a second banana now.
Oh, well, not just, I mean, it's like if Marnius turned on Gilliman kind of stuff, right? Like Emotech really doesn't like the Silent King. And not only that, but he's like, Emotech's like spreading like, conspiracy, like QAnon theories, like, well, what if the Silent King's like actually just rewriting all of our belief systems? Like, did he really give up the codes or is he actually just controlling us all from the background? So like it's pretty interesting to watch some of the internal stuff go down with the Necrons from the lore perspective.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I like seeing Necron players like get jazzed on that stuff.
I mean, it was an intro. We've talked about it, how, some of the retcon stuff, the Satan and their current position is kind of like, 40k, star eating Pokemon, but like, it's still pretty cool. I mean, it's still really
I like how also the army's kind of powerful. Like I got hit up on Facebook by a buddy, and he says he's going to a team tournament. And he says his teammates run in 220-man, I guess Warriors or Reapers, 10 Flayers, Nightbringer, Chronomancer, and Overlord. He's like, what should I take? I'm like, I think your buddy's going to have it all handled. I don't think you. I think you're going to be all right. You can just take whatever.
Yeah, that's an awesome core. So you just got to augment it. Just run with it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, Bill, just take a couple of objective grappers and watch the show. That's good. But I know it's not. I'm being slightly facetious. I know it's not easy mode. But again, this is yet another somewhat unique Necron list that's floated across. There's a lot of depth in the codex, and that's one of the ways that I judge if a codex is good or not. How many builds can you make out of this thing? And there seems to be a ton.
I agree.
I dig it.
I agree with that too.
I like how there seems to be one thing consistent with 40k is that the second in commands, like in this case the Silent King and Imhotep, don't seem to get along with each other in the same way that like none of the Fallen Legions and their first captains seem to get along with each other.
I was about to say Ironman and Magnus, like Typhus and Mortarion, perfect.
Yeah, like Angron and Karn, right?
Yeah. Lucius, I don't know. No one knows what he's up to.
I think there's some real love-hate things going on there, as there should be between those two.
Was Lucius the first captain though? He wasn't the first captain. He's just the guy we know about.
No, he wasn't. It was what's his name? The guy that got his head cut off and then put back on.
Yeah.
Eidolon?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't know how he feels about Fulgrim.
He probably doesn't like him because he's snooty, like Abaddon. The Siege of Terra, and you really see it from the Horus Heresy, especially, Angel Extremis or Angel Exterminatus, sorry, and Slaves of Darkness. Like as the Primarchs of the Fallen Legions really start to take on their demonic positions and whatnot, like they really start losing it, and the rank and file, I mean, whether it's whole groups of captains or the first captains or whatever, really it's kind of this cool thing that you see with like as it transitions into 40k, how like the Fallen Legions are still out there, like Ahriman, right? Like Ahriman has this like mission to do all this, whereas Magnus almost seems, I mean, up until he took out or inflicted some vengeance upon Fenris, Magnus really was kind of this fleeting thing, right? Like he didn't really have like a plan. He was just kind of content to do his own thing off in the warp. So it's, I mean, really interesting to watch that kind of transition.
Yeah, I'm really digging how Siege of Terra is going. Although I've come to a realization that I'm kind of glad that Ferrus Manus got killed.
Dang. What? Hold on. We're going to go, we really should revisit this whole, like, you don't think the Chaos Gods are that bad thing, but why do you think that Ferrus Manus...
Because his name is Iron Man.
Okay, but he's the one that, like, they were pretty sure if he had survived, they probably wouldn't have taken Terra.
Really?
That's Horus, and who was it? Dorn was really bummed that he was gone, obviously. But I think of course, Angron would never like articulate that. But I think they were pretty confident that if Ferrus Manus hadn't been taken out in Istvan 5, I'm pretty sure, taking out Vulcan helped as well to to that given extent that he could be, captured and so on and so forth. And then, of course, it really off-kiltered it. That whole like seizing the initiative thing was huge. But yeah, I think Ferrus Manus, like, from some of the stuff you read about him, I think he probably, between him and Dorn, Sanguinius, and the Khan and everything, like that was and the Khan was a wild card.
I mean, jokes aside, what do you think that Ferrus Manus would bring to the table?
So there was, and that's something that I've, talking to some folks about 30K and even from our interview with Dan Abnett, that, the human factors that have come out, I think that we see some real interesting character traits in the fallen Primarchs, whereas the good guys kind of outside of a few outliers. You know, I think Sanguinius is one of those outliers. They're so human. Sometimes you're trying to figure out what puts them apart to certain degrees. And I think with Ferrus Manus, like he was supposed to be this, like, not just like Dorn, the stoic protector, but Ferrus Manus was like the hammer and anvil all in one, you know, like I think that he was supposed to be the guy
you could bring to the, you know, like he created some new article of war or whatever. Between him and Vulcan probably could have whipped up the ultimate nullifier or whatever.
And then take on like his whole like methodical approach thing. You know, you look at the Iron Hands and their like machine approach to things. Like he would have been like the Terminator on the field. Kind of, I mean, he almost sounds like he would have been the synergy between them all. You know, it's unfortunate, of course, Gilliman stuck in, you know, Macragge with like the largest legion and everything because he got stuck behind a little warp storm and everything. But you know,
warp storm.
I mean, you know, Sanguinius got out. Just saying.
Well, but I mean, no arguments here. I was, of course, you know, being funny about, you know, Ferrus Manus and stuff, and I think it is kind of funny how the Primarchs, when they were listed originally, were almost like I don't want to say cartoony in nature. But some of I don't think that they were expecting that the lore to be as sticky as it has become.
Sure.
And how we don't even notice that anymore about the names.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, like, for sure. I mean, yeah, Ferrus Manus, right?
Well, I mean, all the names they have, like, you could listen to their name and you almost you know, kind of figure out what they're all about just by the name, which is cool. You know, I don't mind that at all.
I mean, and I'm a huge Night Lord fan, especially after, you know, the books and everything written on them. But I tell you what, like the fact that like the Primarch of the Night Lords, Conrad, like he showed up and he's like, I get this really rough image of like a emo teenager being like to the Emperor, like, my name's Night Haunter. The Emperor's like, no, your name's Conrad Curse.
I want to know who has the privilege of being that face, you know, that head on his shoulder pad.
Oh man, yeah.
Needs to be
there's got to be something to it, right?
Yeah. No, again, I was being, you know, slightly facetious, of course, but yeah, it is neat how when there, and we can't talk about it now because it's still too fresh, but there's some amazing scenes in these books to where their character interaction between each other, like there's some really stellar stuff between Abaddon and Perturabo. I mean, I've actually got a better appreciation of Perturabo over the last several. I mean, there's been a couple things in the past, like, and I think I can say this: when he slams Fulgrim's face into that Titan, that little that model Titan, I'm like, whoa!
Oh yeah.
I gotta pay attention to this guy.
That's you know, I'm really glad to hear you over time come to agree with me. Paul. I really appreciate that.
It's only taken 6 years, but you know, better late than never.
That's right.
So, but there's a scene between Abaddon and Perturabo that is, I think, is defining for the both.
I can't wait to see that because I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to that.
It's very cool. I don't think it's a throwaway scene. I don't think it's a filler in a book or just something. I think it's crafted purposefully, and it's really cool to read. And I already had liked, like, there's some scenes where Abaddon is doing Abaddon thing. He's acting like the Abaddon that we know in the 41st millennium in little kind of fits and spurts back in there, and it's neat. And then in this scene, it's not a juxtaposition of that or like the other side of the coin, but it's meticulous and I think well crafted, and it's just it's great. I mean, this Siege of Terra is not disappointing in the slightest.
Man, that's awesome. I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. I mean, I'm literally hanging on every word, and it's a testament to the writers, and you know, and we know that they're treating it very seriously, which is another cool thing. Having all these meetings, having these conversations between themselves and stuff. And when they post this on, you know, their social medias and stuff, you can kind of see when they're you know, they're all going to meeting and having their virtual meetings and having their talks about this stuff. And it's just you can just tell the proof is in the pudding that they are also taking this incredibly seriously, and the journey it's taken to this has all been worth it. And it's paying off after this, 35 plus years of us all wanting to know more about this stuff.
I am so new to like the Black Library, and I was like, I should probably read the Horus Heresy stuff before jumping into the Siege of Terra, just so, like there's no spoilers when I go back to Horus Heresy or whatever. But a few of the books are really hard to find. So I kind of like put it on the back burner because I couldn't find the first Heretic anywhere. I think did I talk to you guys about this?
You
It was
did,
like
yeah.
$118 or something on Amazon. I was like,
We're gonna
really,
get
this
you
is the
that
only
first
place I
Heretic.
can find it? I got it. I
Okay.
finally did. But now I'm like almost done. The Beast Arises, the first volume of it, which is like the first 4 books in it. So
I hate to
once
tell
I
you this.
finish that,
That's not
What?
Horus Heresy.
no, I know, but I had to stop because I'm doing them in order, right? So I had to stop and read something else. So I was reading that, and then so I haven't read Siege of Terror, but I will eventually.
Yeah. There's a ton of books in the Horus Heresy, and people ask us all the time, like, where can I start? And I think you do. It's like the first 4 are mandatory reading.
In order.
Yeah. And then you can start to kind of jump around. Like, heck, I didn't read Mechanicus until a couple of years after it came out, and I didn't feel like I needed to read that in order. And even after reading it, I didn't feel like I had to have it in order.
No, I feel like that one is like a standalone. Like, yeah, it has to do with the Horus Heresy, but yeah, you don't have to read that one in order. But like for me, I don't know which ones have to be in order and which ones don't till after I read them. So yeah,
I think there's some
I'll go
websites out there that help kind of let you plot your course.
Oh man, it's like a labyrinth.
There may even been something published on the Warhammer community side of the Black
There
Library
is.
site.
Yeah. They have like a guide map of how they recommend it for sure.
interesting. I'll have to check it out for
No,
sure.
You can get picky and choosy and read some of the things that like only relevant to the legions that you're following or that are most interested in. But then there are some that I think are critical books.
I read one out of order, and there was like so many spoilers in it for stuff that I hadn't read yet, and I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Oh
So-
no!
Yeah. So
That
I'm
is
just
the
gonna do
worst.
them in order, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, you're reading a paragraph and like, oh, remember when so and so died? What?
And you're like, what? No.
I do not remember that.
Yeah.
Or this one's
I
for
learned my
so-and-so.
lesson.
You know, like what?
Yeah, and you make that noise too. What? Yeah.
Oh, well, look, I can sympathize with the stuff being hard to find, especially, with shipping and supply chains and everything being disrupted as they are. But it's, there is a payoff. Like there's the book, especially as you get closer to it. And even the Buried Dagger, which is the final book in the Horus Heresy series, and it's mostly about Martarion, but it's still, I think, a critical book to read because there's lots of other stuff in there.
See, I've like learned my lesson because when I started reading it, well, I had read a few up until that point and they were starting to get harder to find. So my husband just started ordering me them as they come out. So I have that one. It's just like at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely need to read it last. Like before you
Yeah.
start Siege of Terror, that you have to read it last.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm going to be back on the Horus Heresy bandwagon. Although I did get a nonfiction book that should be here soon too. I might read that one first.
I was just giving you, of course, I was just poking a little fun with the Beast Arises stuff. That's an amazing series. I haven't read it, but from what I can tell, like people are super jazzed on it.
Well, the first one's a Dan Abnett.
Well, I mean, can't argue with that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh. I'm familiar with that section of lore that it covers, but I know it does more. I mean, that's the neatest thing is like they're just taking, they're basically making imagination real. It's so cool.
I just like how some of the Black Library books have like really interesting deep themes, like themes about faith and belonging and stuff like that. And I mean, yeah, you could read it on just like a very superficial level and it could just be like, this is an action novel, or you could look a little bit deeper and like sort of see what, and granted, some of the authors are better at it than others. But yeah, some of the books have a lot of depth to them. So I enjoy finding those ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's everybody working on hobby-wise?
I'm painting
go ahead.
Ragnar Blackmane.
And
he was my pick for like favorite model.
Yep.
Yeah, so now I feel like I've put a lot of pressure on myself to paint him really well. I'm not enjoying it.
So are you not enjoying it because it's at that ugly stage? Because every miniature has that ugly stage where you just like, what am I doing? I'm the worst painter ever.
I mean, it could be that. I hope it's that, but it's quite soon in the process, so I'm not entirely sure if it's just that, but I'm sure it has something to do with like my perfectionism and wanting to do a really good job because he's one of my favorite characters and one of my favorite models, and I haven't painted power armor in like 5 years, so.
You're an amazing painter. People should check out your Instagram if they have not already.
You honor me. Thank you.
No, it's good stuff. You do a really good job with colors, and so I know you'll nail this.
Yeah, I kind of like I have Space Wolves, right, that I painted a long time ago, and I kind of just wanted to do something a little bit because I did like the standard Space Wolf scheme on them, and I wanted this one to be like a little bit more subtle and dark. So I haven't even like hammered out a color scheme for it. So yeah, I'm struggling. I might reprime it and start over. I'm not sure, but
just throw some null on it and be fine.
No. No. Putting my foot down on that.
No, I'm just kidding. That's how I solve my problems. I don't.
Just put more wash on it.
Just put a little more null. No, then I was staring at this power fist. I'm like, power fist is just not doing it for me. Let me just put a little null there in the crevices of the fingers. Yo, that's better.
I mean, wash is liquid talent. Right?
No, but I think we can all empathize a little bit. Is that you have high hopes for this model and you're not feeling it the way it's going. So I think, you got to figure out a way to course correct.
Yeah. I always have like 2 models on the go because I have a model that I paint exclusively on Twitch, and then I have one that I'm painting just for me. So I'm painting my Twitch model tomorrow, and I'm hoping that'll like reset my brain so that I can go back to Ragnar and it'll like make sense. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm trying to think.
Sometimes you've been looking at it too long, and you're just like, no, I need to paint something other than gray blue.
No, you hit this point of like diminishing returns. Like you're winding down. You're only going to spend 10 more minutes painting that night, and like, would it have been better to set the model down 10 minutes ago?
Yeah. I think because I paint in the morning every morning, and I think that's probably what happened. I think that the last 30 minutes of my morning painting session, I should have just like stopped. But yeah, live and learn, right?
Well, especially there's a lot going on in that model. Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe I know you'll figure it out. I'm only like talking about like what a possible solution might be because we're talking about it on the show. I mean, again, go check out the Instagram. They'll know you have it figured out. But like, if anyone else out there is encountering this problem, maybe it's then time to like, let me just go work on the pouches or something and come back to this other spot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I used to be a person who like base coated the whole thing, and then went back and like did the highlights and stuff. And I will do that for an army that I'm going to like exclusive. Like if I'm going to have a tournament army, I will do that. But my Space Wolves are not that for me, so I'm doing like each part to completion and then moving on to something else. I'm not sure if that's maybe the wrong choice. Like maybe I just need to throw some other color on it. Anyway, if anybody's having any issues like with their painting and they want to like talk it out with somebody who's not just going to like criticize the piece, they can always shoot me a message because like I struggle a lot with this stuff. So I have coping mechanisms and stuff. Yeah. But yeah,
some folks I find they have trouble visualizing the next step. Like, for instance, with the Blood Angels, I've gotten to the habit of priming them Mephiston red, and so it's just a blob of red, including the bases. Mm-hmm. And I find sometimes that I've got to break up the color some. I've got to stop what I'm doing and finish this base because all I'm seeing is a blob of red, and it feels like I'm not progressing.
That makes sense. That might be it too, because like this is a lot of gray blue that I'm looking at right now. Yeah. Maybe I'll try throwing something down on this. His cloak is amazing, by the way. And that backpack, like it's been a long time since I've painted Space Wolves, but holy Dinah, does this character look nice.
Hey, it's your favorite model for a reason.
It is. It's
How much like wolf fur and stuff does it have on it? It's been a while since I looked at it.
Like the entire cape is fur, essentially. But like he doesn't have any of like the weird like tails like tail talismans and stuff. Like, oh, he's got one, so it's not too bad.
I just pulled him up now. Yeah, I'm looking at the cloak. Yep, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I struggle with fur actually, but I'm excited for this one.
No, I can see. Look, I mean, this is an intimidating model,
especially because it is going to be like a centerpiece. So, anyway, what's everybody else working on?
Oh.
I've been especially. I got to say, I'm really excited for the Dark Eldar release. So I'm looking forward to it. I've picked up some incubi that I'm going to lean forward and I'm really excited to paint up Drazar and everything. So
nice. What's your preferred color scheme for Dark Eldar?
So I have this whole thing. Like I have my Eldar and Dark Eldar are this. I have this faction I call the Midnight Carnival, and so like my grotesques and racks and everything, like their face plates are painted up white, and then I have like clown face paint put on their face plates, and then it's kind of got a kind of Jokerish theme for my witches and Cabalites, and so the witches have like greenish leather and whatnot, and then they have like blue and green hair and pale skin, of course, to go with the whole Dark Eldar thing, and then the Cabalites are in like purple. I really like the edge highlighting to a lot of their armor because it's just such, it's these really slick plates and everything. And so with the incubi though, I'm not entirely sure if I want to get away from the black. I really do like that classic incubi look, but at the same time, I'm kind of drawn, it kind of threw me for a loop when Inari came out and they were in there were those crimson ones. I don't know. I do like the color red. So
I think that Drukhari, I like the look of an army on the table that is cohesive, but I think that Drukhari kind of lend themselves to having a bunch of different colors in it, just because the whole raiding party and all that I think it's kind of fluffy for things to not quite match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel that one on the Eldari side with all the aspect warriors and stuff. I think it's cool when they, I mean, you need some unifying thing, whether it be the bases or something or whatever. But I do like those, that how it looks a lot different than a Blood Angel army all from the same chapter.
So I started doing Dark Eldar for Kill Team. So I'm not really planning on adding a whole bunch of stuff to it, but the witches I'm doing bright pink with a dark turquoise kind of accents. And then for the Cabalites, I'm doing the opposite. So they're going to be the dark turquoise with the hot pink kind of accents.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
Yeah, kind of inspired by 90s kind of color schemes, just sort of, it's bright.
That bright day glow, that's cool.
Kind of, yeah, it's pretty bright, and they're all going to have dark skin because I just have to be different.
No, I think that aesthetically sounds really good. I think it sounds awesome.
I promise by the time that this podcast gets published, I'll have these Assault Intercessors finished and I'll quit talking about them.
How long have you been working on them?
It's been several weeks.
But you've been busy.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I normally turn things around pretty fast. I do, but it's just, there's been a lot going on and stuff, but I need to get over the hump. That's what I think today I did. I made a bunch of bases for the same thing we were talking about earlier, is that I needed something that made me feel like I was making a lot of progress on these things. You know what? I'll do 15 bases.
Love it. I actually really enjoy doing a good scenic base.
Oh, well, let's not get scenic. I'm just kidding. It's textured and it looks good in my opinion, but and it's good contrast between the models, so I can look at it and go, I've done something today.
But you don't do a scenic base?
Oh yeah, I mean I got several different textures on there, but I also my bases are largely for points. Do I have multiple elements represented on each base? Yes, I do. But it is mostly just texture and then coloring of the different texture and then some grass tufts for these guys.
That's all you need?
Yeah.
But I consider that pretty much a scenic base, though.
Then yes, scenic base.
It's more than just a technical paint.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely do.
Yeah. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
I'm actually building junk bases for all of my orcs that are on bases that are bigger than what the boys come on. So is that 32 that boys are on?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anything that's got a base bigger than 32, I'm building junk bases for.
Nice. I can't wait to see some of that.
I think I posted some already. My you know what? My vanity, or is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
Vanity pieces? Yeah. He's got like a really big junk scenic base.
Oh, I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of, I did field him for the first time.
Did you wreck
My
face?
vanity piece? No. Well, he did okay, but yeah, no. He doesn't play. He doesn't like because I count him as Gazgul, right? He doesn't fit my play style. So yeah, but I did play him once.
That's all I count. Next time.
It's just why would you take him when you could take a souped up war boss on bike?
I'm sure you could find some reason.
Yeah, I guess. I just love that war boss on bike. It's just so killy.
Well, I'm with you. Well, that's our show for today. Adam actually had to dip out a little bit early. He had some connection issues. He hasn't just been sitting here twiddling his thumbs. He's still on the clock. Yeah.
You'd know if he was still here.
Oh, would you?
Oh, is he Alfarius?
We will be back next week. Thank you all very much for listening and coming with us on this trip. Please leave some 5-star reviews for us. And we'll see y'all next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.